The Kanto region, Pokemon Red and Blue really pioneered what we know today as the modern Pokemon, right? So these games really set the tone for future Pokemon games and everything. So you got a lot of solid Pokemon here, really. So let me know, what are your top 5 Kanto Pokemon down below? You don't have to worry about that much Gen 1 bias because I started playing in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, but nevertheless, I cannot deny the importance of the Kanto region and how there are a lot of good Pokemon in the Kanto region. Like, all the starters are good, literally a lot of solid Pokemon, and so I had to limit this list down to the top 5 because I could go on about a lot of Pokemon in this game, but I really just wanted to give you my top 5, and I was able to limit it down to 5. There's a few Pokemon I definitely wish I could have put on this list, but I think the top 5 I have here pretty much encompass what I like about Kanto. And so, anyways, let's get into that top 5. So, here's a silhouette of the first Pokemon. You should already know what this guy is. It is none other than Beedrill. Alright, I think Beedrill is the definitive bug from Kanto. I mean, playthrough-wise, okay, Butterfree has the better stats and move pool, kind of. Because Butterfree, you get, what, Psychic and grass type moves and whatnot, and so Beedrill really didn't have a good move pool until we get to like generation 6 when it gets its mega evolution. But Beedrill looks cooler. Okay, Beedrill is the coolest looking bug, because think about it, if you saw a group of Beedrills, right, you would be scared. There's a reason why in the Pokemon anime, when you see a group of Beedrill, you get terrified, right? Because, like, if you see a group of Butterfree, you're not going to get intimidated. A group of Venomoth, no. I mean, Paris from Legends Arceus, Paris you could arguably put up there, because Paris and Pokemon Legends Arceus is terrifying, right? But anyway, I think Beedrill, I think it looks cool. It is, I mean, I'm a big little kid, right? So I'm going to say a lot of things are here just because they look cool. But it's a gigantic wasp. Like, wasps are terrifying. Think about, like, if you saw like a 4-foot tall wasp, like, I think you would just have to be like, you know what? You might get find a phone call, call your family, say that you love them, because you're not getting out of that situation. But regardless, I think Beedrill is really cool. Its Mega Evolution is one of my favorites. I think my top 5 favorite Mega Evolutions, one of that top 5 has to be Beedrill. And so, I think playthrough-wise, it is not the best. I've tried to use Beedrill multiple times, and it just hasn't worked. But the thing is, a lot of times when you do a playthrough, you're supposed to use Pokemon you like, right? And so I think Kanto embodies that, because there's a lot of mediocre Pokemon in Kanto that people like, but it's not even about, like, them being, like, bad. It's just, you like them, right? So even if they're mediocre, I mean, there are good Pokemon in Kanto, but even if, like a Pokemon is, like, mediocre, it's still iconic. You still love it. For example, Psyduck into Golduck. Golduck is really mediocre, but it's fun to use a Golduck on a playthrough, right? So I think Beedrill embodies that Gen 1 type Pokemon where it doesn't have to be good, but it's still iconic, it's still fun to use, right? But yeah, Beedrill is gonna take this number 5 spot. Alright, let's get into number 4. Number 4 spot, you already know, another Route 1 type Pokemon. We got Radicate. Alright, Radicate, you already know the vibes. Literally 90% of the Pokemon you're gonna knock out in this game in the beginning part of the game is gonna be a Rattata or a Raticate, right? But the reason why I have Radicate here is just because Radicate is my favorite rodent. Of all of the rodents that is introduced every generation, Radicate is my favorite. And for a variety of reasons. Like, a lot of people, you may sleep through this Pokemon, but if you use a Rattata and evolve it into a Radicate, that will become a strong Pokemon early on. As other Pokemon evolve, Radicate, I guess, is not as strong as you get later in the game, but still, having Eradicate early on, you can get through a lot of the early game tough trainers. Like, for example, not Brock, but more so Misty. Misty doesn't resist normal, right? So a really strong normal type attack from Radicate, which Radicate has some of the better stats that you can get early in the game. And so using Eradicate on a playthrough is always really fun. I mean, later into the game, you could say other Pokemon become available that are better, I guess. But I think that Radicate is always going to have I think Radicate always has something to offer. I mean, normal type stab is just good because it's only resisted by a couple of typings. Well, in Generation 1, it was only resisted by Rock and immune, but normal was immune to it. I mean, not normal. Ghost was immune to it. Sorry about that. Ghost was immune to normal, but ghost types are rare. There's a lot of rock types, but I think normal stab is just really cool because it's not resisted by a lot of types. And I think Radicate having that good attack stat, and then not only that, I believe you could get either Guts or Hustle on it in later generations, which makes it even stronger. Guts on a playthrough is a really good ability because on a playthrough you can get poisoned a lot or whatnot, and then Hustle is also a really good ability because it's giving you that attack stat boost. And shout out to the Alola form. You know, my guy put on a little bit of weight, boy became a little thick, and I think it even gets bulk up in the Alola games, which is why I just love the move bulk up in general. So its Alola form is really solid. It turns it from a speedy attacker into more of a bulky attacker with bulk up and some other some other moves. So I think Radicate is, I mean, it's not supposed to be the best Pokemon in the world, which is fine, but I think it's solid. It's fun to use. You know, I've used Radicate competitively, and when you can get a sweep with Eradicate, it's just satisfying because people underestimate this guy a lot, and he has some pretty fun tools competitively. You know, I like running a Flame Orb, Swords Dance, Quick Attack set that catch some people off guard, but then you always want to have Facade on it. It has decent speed, but anyway, Radicate, I think, is solid. It really set the tone for early game Pokemon, some of those stronger early game Pokemon that you can get in every generation. Radicate really set the tone for that, and yeah, love the guy Radicate. And so number 3, you see the silhouette? It's pretty clear who this guy is. None other than Magmar. Alright, let me tell you something about Magmar. Okay, I know I've had other forms on the previous 2 slides, right? So you saw the Alolan form for Eradicate and then the Mega form for Beedrill. Magmar, I just like Magmar. I don't like Magby's alright. Magmortar is not as good, but Magmar is just, look at him, bro. Like, if you rolled up a joint with Magmar, you would have a good time. I don't even smoke, but like Magmar clearly is always a little bit faded, but he looks like he's always that fun guy, bro. Like I really feel that like Magmar is like the cool guy in the party. You always want Magmar at the party because he's gonna be that guy you could just like chat with for a few hours while y'all both, you know, maybe have a few sips of some beverages. You know, might light up some of that oddish, that wild oddish, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, regardless, I think Magmar is just, I fire types. I love fire types, and Magmar is pretty versatile for fire type. Fire types aren't known for being versatile. Usually fire types rely on a second typing. So like Charizard flying, and then it kind of looks like a dragon, so it gets some dragon moves. And then you got firefighting Pokemon, which get fighting coverage, which allows them to get some other moves like Earthquake. But when you look at pure fire Pokemon, like let's look at something like Typhlosion. Typhlosion's move pool is really bad. A lot of pure fire Pokemon don't have the best move pools, but Magmar has a really good move pool. It has Thunder Punch, Iron Tail. I believe it gets some poison moves. It gets Psychic. Like, I think this guy's move pool is really good. It gets Belly Drum, I believe, and Mach Punch, so you can do some shenanigans like that. And being a middle evolution, I think it's one of the most solid middle evolutions, because getting a Magmortar is always kind of difficult in certain games, and that Magmortar is in, or sometimes impossible, because I don't think you can get a Magmortar in Heart Gold Soul Silver until I think the post game. But Magmar, as soon as you catch it, it's a good Pokemon. Like, it has good all around stats. It has a good move pool. It's all around a Pokemon that you can use whenever. If you ever have a chance to use Magmar on a playthrough, just use him. If you don't already have a fire type, just throw Magmar on your team. Like, he's good. Like, there's nothing beyond that. Like, I mean, competitively, I love me some Eviolite Magmar. But yeah, Magmar is a really good Pokemon to use on playthrough. I highly recommend it. He's a fun Pokemon. He looks derpy. He's my freaking fire. I don't even know what this guy's supposed to be. Is he supposed to be a duck? A fire duck, I guess. But yeah, bro, Magmar is really fun. Always gonna be a fun Pokemon, and yeah, just one of my favorite fire types. I I want to give more of an explanation why I like Magmar, but like it's just I look at the guy, he looks like fun, and he's fun to use, and that's literally all you need. But anyway, let's get into number 2. Speaks for himself. You got Gyarados. Okay, now I love Magikarp. Magikarp is a meme in and of itself, but like when you think Gen 1, an iconic Pokemon is going to be Magikarp. You can't think Gen 1 without thinking Magikarp, because Magikarp's supposed to be useless. Everyone's supposed to hate on Magikarp, right? And then it turns into this absolute monster creature, Gyarados. Gyarados is a monster. Dragon Dance, Waterfall, like, this man gets Dragon Dance. Like, any Pokemon you can get with Dragon Dance is just automatically going to be good. And so, Dragon Dance on a really strong Pokemon, like, for real. Like, in the first generation, okay, you can argue Gyarados wasn't that good, but it still had an amazing move pool. It's a water type that gets fire coverage. Like, it has Flamethrower as a water type, and that is rare. I think there's only a few other water Pokemon that get fire coverage. Like, I think Octillery gets Flamethrower. But still, it gets fire coverage. You get fire. You got Thunderbolt. You got Ice Beam. Like, this guy has amazing coverage, right? And then when you get into later generations, this guy literally gets buffed like every generation. You see, starting in, like, I want to say like Gen 4, it gets buffed in every generation. Well, you could also say in Gen 3, it gets Intimidate, right? Which helps it be able to take physical attacks better, because it's flying type, so it can take fighting type moves, right? And then in Gen 4, this guy got the physical special split, meaning Dragon Dance is really good. You can get Waterfall, Ice Fang, and Earthquake. That's literally all you need on a Gyarados, and you'll just be able to wreck things, right? So you get the physical special split in Gen 4, gives this guy a boost. Gen 5, you get the water, the rain. You get the rain making this guy's waterfalls hit even harder. And not only that, in Gen 5, I believe it gets Moxie, which is a ridiculous ability for having a really high attack stat. I believe base 125 attack. Correct me if I'm wrong. You get up one Dragon Dance and you kill your opponent, meaning that you're gonna have ×2 attack, and you can just start sweeping. This guy is a freaking menace. I always throw a Lumberry. Honestly, always have a Lumberry on your Gyarados, because something will come in. Let's say something's gonna burn you, right? Or toxic you, right? You see something that you know is gonna go for a status. You have Lumberry on you, you Dragon Dance up, that status won't affect you because of Lumberry, and then you just sweep. Because all you really need with Gyarados is one Dragon Dance before you can start taking lives. Because Earthquake and Waterfall, water and ground coverage hits most of the game super effectively. Most of the game gets hit super effectively by that, right? Even though it's a flying type, you don't really use this flying type coverage, right? I mean, but it would be good for like grass types, you know. But the only real flying type moves it gets is Bounce and I think Hurricane. And you're not gonna want to. I mean, Choice Specs Gyarados is interesting, but you're really gonna want a physical one, right? And so, but anyway, Gen 5, Gen 6, you get this monstrous Mega Evolution, right? Now, as much as I want Gyarados to become a Dragon type, right, I can't even knock it getting a Dark type Mega Evolution, because I mean, going from Flying to Dark, Crunch, getting boosted off of that Crunch is ridiculous, man. Like, this guy already gets more powerful, right? And so you may be thinking Mega Evolution is not even in Gen 8. I mean, in Gen 7, Z moves also, I mean, Waterium Z is a good move. You could use Flyinium Z if you want to get a flying move off utilizing Bounce. But, I mean, Z moves buff this guy, but I think when you get to Gen 8, you may Gen 6 into Gen 7 wasn't that big of a buff, but it still, I think, got stronger in Generation 8. But still, now when you get to Generation, I think it got stronger in Generation 7, my bad. But when you get to Generation 8, you may be like wondering, okay, this guy lost his Mega Evolution, because Mega Evolution doesn't exist in Gen 8. How did he get buffed? Well, you know how this guy gets buffed in Gen 8? They gave him Power Whip, which is a really strong move, and Dynamax Gyarados, being able to set up the rain with Max Waterfall, and then get a speed boost. You actually run Bounce on Gyarados in Gen 8 when you can Dynamax, because the Dynamax flying move boosts your speed, and Gyarados has Moxie, so that means you boost your speed with a really strong move. You knock out your opponent, you get that attack boost, and then you can set up the rain with the G-Max Water something, and then Power Whip is just an amazing coverage move. And honestly, I was running a Waterfall, Power Whip, Bounce, and Dragon Dance. I mean, you could honestly substitute Dragon Dance for Earthquake and run a Waterfall, Bounce, Power Whip, Earthquake, Gyarados, because you could set up your own Dragon Dances with the G-Max flying move, and then getting a KO and using your Moxie. But still, Gyarados was a menace in Gen 8. And then they banned Dynamax, but I still think Gyarados is just, it's always strong. Gyarados is always a top tier Pokemon, and I think it will always consistently be a top tier Pokemon because it's just good. Alright? But that was my competitive, I use Gyarados competitively so much. It is in every single generation so far that I've been competitive, which even though I started in Gen 5, I got competitive in Gen 6. Every single competitive game, I have made a competitive Gyarados. Every single game. Every single game, I have bred for a competitive Gyarados. And I think I'm going to continue to do that, because Gyarados is just a menace. I love Gyarados. So, that was my reason why I love Gyarados. I love Gyarados, you know? Evolve some Magikarp, it's, you know the vibes. Like, you get the strongest Pokemon from one of the weakest Pokemon. It's just, it's cool, right? And so anyway, you may be wondering, after I went on that big rant, what Pokemon could I possibly like more than Gyarados? And so, it's cliche, but I think a lot of the favorite Pokemon from a given region, ask anybody, one of the top 5 is going to be a starter. More likely than not, it's going to be a starter, right? And especially with Gen 1. Most people whose favorite Pokemon from Gen 1, it is a starter, right? And so, my opinion on the starter has changed. And when X and Y came out, I'll tell you this. When X and Y came out, I was a big Squirtle fan. I thought Charmander was overrated. Charizard's cool. I always have respected Charizard. But I thought, you know, I'm going to go with Squirtle. I thought Squirtle was better, and I held that opinion a lot. And then, I started using Venusaur. And you know what? Number 1. It's the entire line is up here. Venusaur, Ivysaur, Bulbasaur, Mega Venusaur, all of them are here because all of them are important, except G-Max Venusaur, because I think G-Max Venusaur looks stupid. I don't like Dynamax that much anyway. I mean, even though Dynamax Gyarados is strong, don't get me wrong, but G-Max forms I don't really like. But regardless, alright, Venusaur is a terrifying competitive Pokemon, but even then, Bulbasaur is the cutest starter. If you have seen my collectibles, you know I have a plush Bulbasaur. I love Bulbasaur, it's so adorable. And the thing is, when you play through Kanto, everyone says, people start to think Blastoise is the best one, because Charizard is hard to use, because it's weak to most of the gyms, right? And then people say, okay, use Blastoise. The only thing is that Bulbasaur, in my opinion, is the best Kanto starter, because it is the best grass type in Kanto. People always say, why would you choose Bulbasaur when there's other grass types? Why choose Charizard when there's other fire types? The thing is when it comes to Bulbasaur, the Bulbasaur line is the best grass type. Because look at the other grass types. What do you have? Tangela? No. Victory Bell? Absolutely not. Even though it's the same type, Venusaur is better than it. Like, the Venusaur line is the best grass type line in Kanto. Vileplume, you have to get a stone. And getting evolution stones in Kanto can be kind of tedious. And not only that, stone evolutions have bad move pools, have bad level up move pools, right? So, and then not only that, this is the best way to get status early game, because you get all of the powder moves, Sleep Powder, Poison Power, a Stun Spore, you get all of those moves early on, and those are really useful early game to catch some Pokemon, right? And then Leech Seed is always really good. And then look at the other two. Blastoise, is Blastoise the best water type in Gen 1? No. Is Charizard the best fire type in Gen 1? No. But is Bulbasaur line, is that the best grass type line in Gen 1? Absolutely. What other grass type in Gen 1 is better? I'm waiting. I genuinely want to know what grass type in Gen 1 is better than Bulbasaur. And so, based off of that logic, that's why Bulbasaur is the best starter. Because it's like, of course, you can get other types of Pokemon, right? But the best grass type is Bulbasaur. It is. And it's easy, it has the same advantages on the first few gyms that Squirtle does, But Bulbasaur, it's also the cutest. Bulbasaur is the cutest of all the starters. Look at him. He's chubby. Chubby equals cute. Change my mind. If something is chubby, it is automatically cute. And then Ivysaur good teenager stage. And then Venusaur, oh my god. Competitive Venusaur, it's like, it literally becomes a different Pokemon when it Mega Evolves. And that is weird, because when Charizard Mega Evolves, you know, Charizard X is an extension of Dragon Dance Charizard. Charizard Y is an extension of Special Attacking Charizard. Mega Venusaur is completely different, because normal Venusaur is a offensive, is scarily offensive with Chlorophyll and Growth and Weather Ball and Solar Beam. Normal Venusaur is just in the sun, is a monster. Mega Venusaur is a tank. They literally play two completely different roles. I mean, you can have normal Venusaur be bulky, but the best way to use normal Venusaur is in the sun as an offensive set with literally 3 moves: Solar Beam, Weather Ball, and Sludge Bomb. You hit most of the game super effectively. Like, there is barely any Pokemon that can resist you except for maybe like Heatran. Heatran is the only Pokemon you step to, but Heatran is just steps to a lot of Pokemon. But still, Venusaur is just competitively is strong. And it is more consistent competitively. Because look, Charizard lost his Mega Evolution in Gen 8, and instantly it's not good competitively, right? Even though you see Charizard everywhere because of G-Max, Venusaur is still OU. Venusaur is still the strongest competitive Kanto starter right now. It lost its Mega Evolution and it's still strong, right? Even before, Charizard and Blastoise have always been low-tier Pokemon, whereas Venusaur has always, I think, been above the 2. So, you know, everyone says Bulbasaur is the, you know, the least popular, but regardless, I mean, even though it may be the least popular, Bulbasaur is literally the best. It is the best out of all of them. Changed my mind. You know, I want you to tell me why. All y'all Charizard fans, all y'all Blastoise fans, tell me why. After everything I said, why Charizard or Blastoise is better. But regardless, I hope you liked this video. Thank you for watching my top 5 Kanto Pokemon. Let me know what your top 5 Kanto Pokemon are in the description below. You know, I plan to do this series for every generation, so you know what's next. I can't wait to revisit the Johto region and go through that Johto region Pokédex. I'll let you know for this video, I did look at the entire Pokédex, and, you know, some of my favorite Pokemon that didn't make this list, Alakazam, Arcanine, and I didn't put Mewtwo on this list just because I want to do a separate video of my top 5 legendaries, and I guess spoiler, because Mewtwo is going to be on that list. But yeah, so here are my top 5 Kanto Pokemon. If you like this video, let me know what I like down below, and I can't wait to do more of these. I'll catch y'all next time on another top 5 Kanto top 5 video, or just another video. If you haven't subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can see more lovely, amazing content from your boy. But regardless, I hope you have yourself a damn good one.